How to check bank screens for the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong. A complete guide introduction. Cutting through the noise if you've been part of the global community that follows the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, or Vietnamese Dong, VND. You already know how much conversation, speculation, and rumor circulates around these currencies. Forums, social media groups, and countless videos are filled with people discussing RV news, whispering about supposed insider contacts, and sharing stories of sudden rate changes appearing at local banks. But here's the truth. The most reliable place to see what's really happening isn't on rumor boards, it's on bank screens. The idea of checking a bank screen has become almost legendary among currency holders. People swap stories about walking into a branch, asking a teller to look up the IQD or VND, and catching a glimpse of a surprising number on the monitor. Whether those stories are genuine or just fuel for speculation, the process of checking bank screens remains one of the few tangible ways to see what banks are actually working with. In this article, we'll take a step-by-step journey through everything you need to know. What bank screens really are, how to approach a banker without sounding like you're chasing rumors, what information you can expect to see, how to interpret unusual responses, and how to document your findings. Along the way, we'll also address common myths, explain why patience is critical, and highlight tips that make your search more effective. By the end, you'll have a clear, practical playbook for checking IQD and VND bank rates in a way that's professional, respectful, and informed. Understanding bank screens 1.1. What are bank screens? Inside every bank is an internal system, essentially the bank's digital dashboard, where staff can view exchange rates for a wide range of world currencies. These aren't the same numbers you'll see if you pull up Google or a popular currency converter app. Online reference rates reflect interbank trading values, often used by financial institutions and updated multiple times a day. Bank screens show the buy and sell prices that a specific institution is willing to transact at with customers. These numbers factor in the bank's own fees, spreads, and policies. For example, Google might show the Vietnamese Dong at a certain value per US dollar, but the rate at Wells Fargo's internal system could look quite different. 1.2. Why bank screens matter for the Dinar and Dong community. Bank screens are seen as the closest thing to real confirmation. Unlike speculation, a live bank rate carries weight because it comes from a legitimate financial system. If anything significant happens, like a major revaluation or sudden policy change, it should appear on these screens first. That's why learning how to check them properly is so valuable. Preparation before you ask. 2.1. Don't walk in cold. Imagine you're a teller at a busy branch. Someone you've never met walks in and blurts out, "Has the dinar revalued yet?" Chances are, you'll dismiss the request as rumor chasing, or you might not even know what they're talking about. Preparation is everything. The more you look like a serious customer rather than a rumor hunter, the more likely you are to get useful information. 2.2. Open a bank account first. Banks give priority to their own customers. If you already have a checking or savings account, or better yet, if you've done business with the branch before, the staff are more inclined to treat your request with respect. Think of it this way. If you're walking in as someone with no ties to the institution, you're just another walk-in with a random question. But if you're an established customer, you're someone they know and want to serve. 2.3. Bring professionalism. Dress neatly, stay calm, and approach the conversation as if you're making any other financial inquiry. The less you look like someone chasing online gossip, the smoother the process goes. Asking the right way. 3.1. How to phrase your question. The words you use matter. Asking about RV revaluation immediately raises red flags. Bank employees are trained to avoid speculation and won't discuss rumors. Instead, phrase your request like a normal banking transaction. Could you please check the current exchange rate for the Iraqi dinar? I'm considering a possible foreign currency exchange. This simple sentence accomplishes three things. 1. It uses the correct terminology. 2. It frames you as a potential customer. 3. It avoids rumor-related language. The same wording works for the Vietnamese Dong, just swap in VND. 3.2. Use official currency codes. Every currency is identified by a 3-letter ISO code. Iraqi dinar equals IQD, Vietnamese Dong equals VND. Even if the banker isn't familiar with the currency name, these codes are universal. Asking them to look up IQD or VND ensures the system pulls the right information. What you'll see on the screen 4.1 buy and sell rates when the banker types in IQD or VND, the screen usually shows two numbers. Buy rate, the amount the bank will pay you if you sell them the currency. Sell rate, the price the bank charges if you want to buy the currency. These rates often differ widely from what you'll see online. That's because banks build in service fees and profit margins. 4.2 special messages. Sometimes, instead of clear numbers, you might see other responses. Not available, the bank isn't currently dealing in that currency. Pending, the rate is in the system but can't be transacted at the moment. Hesitation from the teller. Occasionally, staff might look surprised, confused, or uncertain when the screen displays something unusual. While none of these automatically mean a revaluation is taking place, they are worth noting. Reading between the lines, 5.1 frozen rates. Banks occasionally freeze certain currencies during global events, regulatory changes, or periods of volatility. If you see a message like, not available, it may simply mean the bank has temporarily suspended trades. 5.2 placeholder numbers. There have been reports over the years of banks loading test or placeholder rates. While skeptics point out that these don't necessarily mean anything is imminent, they still fuel discussion in the community. 5.3 Why patience matters. It's easy to get swept up in excitement if you see an unusual number on a screen. But remember, just because a rate appears doesn't mean you can immediately transact at that price. Banks may display pending rates that aren't yet live. Keeping records. 6.1 Document every visit. If you're serious about tracking patterns, write down the details every time you visit a branch. The date, the bank name, and location. What the screen showed. Any special notes from the teller. Over time, this record becomes invaluable. You'll notice which institutions are more open, which always say unavailable, and whether certain times of day produce different results. 6.2 Spotting trends. Some banks refresh their foreign exchange tables daily, usually in the morning. By keeping records, you can see if rate updates align with those refresh cycles. Building relationships. 7.1 Why rapport matters. If you build a friendly, professional relationship with your banker, they're more likely to help you openly. Think long-term. Visit the branch occasionally, handle normal transactions there, and treat staff with respect. 7.2 Boundaries. To respect bank employees cannot legally speculate about revaluations. Don't pressure them to share insider info. Keep your conversations professional, and you'll maintain goodwill. The big what if. 8.1 Spotting a surprising rate. Imagine you walk in one morning and see IQD listed at $3.00 or more, or VND suddenly showing a dramatic jump. What should you do? 1. Stay calm. Excitement is natural, but composure is key. 2. Ask politely if the banker can print the rate sheet. Some banks will provide it, some won't. 3. Don't push. If they decline, it's enough to know what you saw. 8.2 Transaction versus display. A visible rate doesn't guarantee you can complete an exchange. Sometimes, numbers appear before they're actually live for transactions. That's why patience is essential. Myths and misunderstandings. 9.1 Only big banks know the truth. Not true. Large banks and small community banks all use internal systems. The difference is that some may simply choose not to deal in certain currencies. 9.2 Every strange message means RV. While unusual system messages are intriguing, they don't automatically signal a revaluation. They may reflect technical updates, freezes, or regulatory changes. 9.3 Online rates tell the full story. Online rates are market references, not the buy-sell prices you'll encounter at a bank. That's why bank screens remain the gold standard for confirmation. Practical tips for success. Call ahead. Ask if the branch handles IQD or VND before making the trip. Go early. Morning is when many banks refresh their foreign exchange tables. Be consistent. Visit periodically, not obsessively, to track real changes over time. Keep perspective. Don't hang all your hopes on one screen check. Why this matters to the community. For many holders of the dinar and dong, seeing a live rate on a legitimate bank system represents ultimate validation. It moves the conversation from rumor to tangible data. Even skeptics acknowledge that a bank screen carries more authority than internet chatter. At the same time, the process teaches patience and discipline. People have been following this story for years, often with highs and lows of expectation. Learning how to check bank screens correctly gives you confidence without relying solely on speculation. Conclusion: empowering yourself at the end of the day. The goal isn't just to chase rumors, it's to empower yourself with clear, reliable information. By preparing properly, asking the right way, using official currency codes, documenting your findings, and maintaining professional relationships with bankers, you put yourself in control of the process. Will the Iraqi dinar or Vietnamese dong suddenly skyrocket in value tomorrow? Nobody can say for sure, but by mastering the process of checking bank screens, you'll be ready to recognize real changes when they happen. Patience, professionalism, and persistence are your best allies. The revaluation story has stretched over years, but the moment true shifts appear, those who know how to check properly will be among the first to see it with their own eyes. Disclaimer: all content provided by IQD Global Intel is for educational and informational purposes only. We are not financial advisors and do not provide investment, trading, or banking advice. Viewers should always conduct their own research and consult with a licensed financial advisor before making any financial decisions.